Kansas City, Missouri on this Father's Day Sunday. Happy Father's Day to all of you dads out there watching a little Astros baseball today, as the Astros will conclude their longest road trip of the year, a 10-gamer over 11 days. And it's been an outstanding trip so far as Lance McCullers tries to give the Astros a run of the table as they go for a sweep here in Kansas City, and also a perfect 10-0 road trip. Hi, everybody, and welcome. Happy Father's Day to you, Blummer, as the Astros look for a win today. And during this road trip, 10-0 is not something a lot of teams have accomplished.
No, and it's crazy how we keep having to go back into the history books and find out what these Astros are doing and have some context to it. But yeah, they're on a historic run right now. And
the offense during this winning streak overall, which is also 10 games, has been phenomenal.
Yep, at the start of the season, we weren't sure we were going to get to this point where we were going to be able to rely on the offense, but we are there now. They have created depth. They've made a couple of adjustments down in the bottom portion of that order, and now things are firing on all cylinders. They've won 10 straight, going for that 11th, 9-0 on this road trip, and we know they love playing in that gray uniform. The interesting thing for me is, will they go out there and continue this streak today, and what's going to happen once they show up at home? Because right now, every guy is locked in, and the one thing I love to hear was Alex Bregman talking about, man for man, they are taking every pitch as serious as they possibly can, and every time a Royals pitcher makes a mistake, it gets hammered.
A couple of three-run home runs yesterday. Alex Bregman wrapped up the scoring as he gave the Astros their 10th run with that three-run home run. We kept saying the offense will eventually get to where they were last year, and we have seen it the last 10 games.
Yeah, and that's a lot of reason why we're seeing these guys smiling and rushing to the ballpark, because they know that when they get in that box, they have a chance to do some serious damage. Guys are having great at-bats. They're getting on base at almost 39% of the time, and when they do get on base, to what Todd was talking about, they are driving the ball out of the ballpark. Those three-run home runs absolutely put daggers in the hearts of the opposing teams.
Lance McCullers Jr. on the mound today for the Astros. They'll face a young 22-year-old right-hander, Brad Keller, facing Houston for the first time. Astros looking for 11 in a row as we continue on a Sunday after this. Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Arctic, overbuilt, not overpriced. And by Jack in the Box. Try the $4.99 Jack Spicy Chicken Club Combo with toasted sourdough. When we come back to Kansas City, we'll be joined by Julia Morales. She will compare and contrast some home runs in this series from the left side of the Astros infield, Carlos Correa and Alex Bregman next.
Day for the series finale. Astros riding a 10-game win streak as they go for the 10-game sweep on this road trip. The Astros feeling pretty good. They're a very confident group. Alex Bregman even telling me post-game yesterday that the champs haven't even started playing the way that they're capable of yet. So this is just a taste of what's to come. He's one of those confident guys, but Bregman also keeping it real. Our Shiner Box Spotlight looks back as he has hit back-to-back homers in the first two games of this series. We go back to Friday night. He got one out just past the foul pole in left field. That one going 368, 100 miles per hour off the bat. It was the first hit of the game for the Astros that night, but two batters later, Carlos Correa with a monster home run. That one 112 off the bat, 455 feet. And Bregman was asked about his homer after the game. He joked, said that was nothing compared to the majestic shot by the shortstop. But he answered the next day. Bregman with a 3-run bomb in the ninth, put the game away. That was his 10th of the year, 411. And Bregman did say that this place is a graveyard, but he got lucky enough to hit it to the parts of the park where they would actually go out right there. So having a good time with his buddy Carlos Correa. The entire offense is having a good time with the way they've been swinging it. Bregman, though, that on-base streak still going strong, just putting a little power into it here lately. All right, let's see if they can keep it going today. When we come back, we're going to talk about Bregman and some others. Who is your early favorite for the player of the month of June? We know it's early, but we're going to discuss after this. between the Houston Astros and the Kansas City Royals. Astros playing some great baseball here lately, 11-3 this month, and several of these players offensively have put up some really big numbers already, and we're just halfway through the month. It's our Chevy Stropo question today. We're asking you who your early candidate for Player of the Month in June would be. Right now, Marwin Gonzalez, who's only hitting .471 with a 1,300 OPS. We've seen him knock 3 triples this month. Yuli's had a good month as well. The average is good, playing a good first base for him, driving in 12. Evan Gattis, he's an early favorite for sure with his 7 home runs, a 22 RBI on his way to a historic month if he can keep it up. And then Alex Bregman, who's drove in 4 yesterday. He's now up to 15 RBI in the month of June, but he's also has 13 runs scored, and he's reached in 27 consecutive games. Those are your 4 candidates right here. I know Evan Gattis is going to get a lot of votes for all those homers, but some of these other guys have had really impressive starts to June, guys.
Nice to see all 4 candidates on the offensive side, too, because in the month of May, Justin Verlander was pitcher of the month in the AL, and the previous month, even though Sean Manaea won it, Morton and Cole and Verlander were all candidates, and now the offensive guys are taking the reins.
No, they are, and I'm a big fan of what Alex Bregman and Evan Gattis have done. I'm a CEO of Damage Incorporated, and those guys are doing a ton of damage, driving in runs, scoring runs, but I just love the fact that they've come up in big moments also.
See if they can do it again today as they wrap up this road trip. They have been getting to starters for big numbers lately, and here's the Astros starting lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. George Springer leads things off in center field, followed by Alex Bregman coming off his 10th home run of the year in his last at bat yesterday. Jose Altuve hits third, Carlos Correa plays short and cleans up. Yuli Gurriel, Josh Reddick, Evan Gattis DHing, Marwin Gonzalez, he's been red hot, he'll bat 8th today, and Brian McCann behind the plate batting 9th.
Brad Keller is on the mound for the Kansas City Royals. He is a Rule of 5 draft pickup, and he's done pretty good so far. He's pitched a ton of games in relief, but he's also done a very good job, earned himself the right to be that 8th inning pitcher for the Kansas City Royals. Now he is getting his 4th start. He is 1-2 on the season, only thrown 35 innings, has 23 strikeouts. He is heavy on the fastball, and he throws the fastball relatively hard, averaging close to 95 miles an hour. He throws that pitch 75% of the time, and when he gets off that, he will go straight to the slider with the occasional changeup.
Royals defense presented by Xfinity. In the outfield, Alex Gordon and Abraham Almonte, Paulo Orlando in right field. Ryan Goins gets the start at third base today. Mike Moustakas is the DH. Alcides Escobar, another start at shortstop. That is now 404 in a row for him. Whit Merrifield at second, Hunter Dozier at first base, and behind the plate, Salvador Perez. First pitch is grounded towards Escobar, and he makes the play. So Keller, who gets a lot of ground balls when he's going well, 1 pitch into this game and 1 out.
Yeah, in this season for 2018, that fastball is, well, all of his pitches on the season have gotten close to 60% of ground ball outs. But he does a good job. He's got a couple of different fastballs, according to Rex Hudler, the color analyst for the Kansas City Royals, saying that he has a little bit of natural cut to that fastball, but he can also throw the 2-seam that'll run to that arm side.
Here he faces Alex Bregman. When he faces right-hand hitters, he throws that 4-seam about twice as much as the 2-seam. He'll load up with even more 4-seamers against left-hand hitters. You won't see a lefty until Josh Reddick in the number 6 spot in today's lineup. Bregman up the middle for a base hit. Alex has now reached base in 28 straight, and he is a 1-out base runner for the Astros.
Good swing by Alex Bregman. And if you make a mistake to the Houston Astros, much like this pitch, that slider at 89 on our MD Anderson strike zone shows you that it's pretty much center cut, and Alex just shoots it right back up the middle. That is a beautiful swing on a good pitch to hit.
The temperature and the feels like temperature the exact same today as it was yesterday at the first pitch. 93 degrees, and it feels like 100. 2 of the 9 that started in the lineup yesterday for the Astros had to leave the game due to the heat. Yuli Gurriel left the game, as did Max Stassi after his hit in the 9th inning.
You can protect Yuli a little bit. He's in his mid-30s, plays hard. Max Stassi is a young man.
And Stassi wore it a little bit.
Did he?
He did not want to come out of that game. Jeremiah Randall, the head athletic trainer, said you need to come out. He had started cramping up as early as the 3rd inning.
Oh, wow.
And tried to get to the finish line and just couldn't do it after his hit in the 9th inning. We saw him run out of the batter's box and he could barely get down to first. Well, Brian McCann came on as a pinch runner for just the 3rd time in his career, and McCann getting the start today. And this could be a day where McCann loses a little bit of water weight.
Yeah, but he could gain a ton of respect and bragging rights on that airplane on the ride home if he plays all 9.
Altuve with a count of 2-1. Jose coming in with a .395 road batting average, hitting .371 on this trip. The road average is the best in baseball. And now it's 3-1. Keller, normally a guy who will attack the zone, but when you watch the Astros and what they've done to starting pitchers lately, maybe you get a little more tentative. Astros have scored 6 runs or more against the last 6 starters they faced, going all the way back to the final game in Texas. Ball 4. 5-pitch walk to Jose Altuve, and the Astros are in business again early in the game. 1st and 2nd and 1 out.
What these guys do is just continue to get base runners out there and wait for that big hit. The most road runs per game in a single season since 1954. The '94 Yankees on top of that at 6.77, and the Astros on there twice. 2017 was a very good year on the road, and 2018 shaping up to be just as good.
Here's Carlos Correa. Correa with the ball getting through Salvador Perez. Don't see that very often. That looked like a very catchable or blockable pitch for Salvi Perez, and instead it advances 2 runners to 2nd and to 3rd.
He was late getting the glove to it, and it skipped past him, and he actually looked in the glove to try and figure out where that thing went. Advantage Astros moving runners up 90 feet.
That was the first time Keller was pitching with a runner on 2nd. Salvador Perez going out to talk to Keller. Didn't look like your classic cross-up, but maybe it was. Now the infield back, so Correa, who has 44 RBIs, 2nd on the team to Evan Gattis with 46, can bring in a run with a ground ball. Only infielder in is the first baseman. Little looper towards shallow left, coming in Gordon, and going out Escobar. That's going to fall. Alex Bregman will score. Carlos Correa drops a single into left, and the Astros out early yet again. It's 1-0.
Swing doesn't scream that he's going to go out there and do damage, but the result is definitely damaging. It was that slider down and just kind of a sweeping swing from Carlos Correa off the end of the bat. Right in the middle of no man's land, and things continuing to go the Houston Astros way.
Yuli Gurriel fouls one at the plate. Yuli back in there, all hydrated, ready to go. AJ asked him if he ever played in temperatures like this in Cuba, and he said no, yesterday was hotter.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yuli coming into this game, 458 with runners in scoring position. He is an RBI monster when he gets a chance. An average the best in baseball when he has runners at either 2nd or 3rd or both. There's a base hit into left field. Add another one to that average as Yuli, an RBI single to left, and the Astros now lead 2-0.
It's not too often you see a team, and I know you can only put 9 hitters in the lineup here in the American League, but I would say to a man on that bench on this road trip has been absolutely ready to rake as soon as they've gotten into that box. They don't waste much time. They're laying off pitches out of the zone, but if there's something they're looking for in a zone they're ready to attack, they do, and they end up putting the barrel on it and end up getting hits out of it. It's been a remarkable trip.
Got just 2 guys in the lineup with a sub-300 road trip. George Springer, the leadoff hitter, and Brian McCann, the number 9 hitter. And even those guys have done some damage as Josh Reddick takes a called strike. Reddick hitting .364 on this trip. He's 7 for his last 18. Another early lead for the Astros. They were out 2-0 yesterday on the Altuve 2 RBI double. They were out 3-0 in the final game against the Oakland A's. There's a shattered bat to second for 1. Escobar no chance at the return as Merrifield had to wait for that ball a little bit. So the Astros keep the inning alive on the fielder's choice. Today's Texas Auto Diamond Kings are the guys who have the most RBIs in the month of June in Astros history. Jimmy Wynn in 1967 and Jose Cheo Cruz in 1984.
Yeah, we know the Toy Cannon like to go out there and hit some home runs, but what's crazy to me is that number right there for Jose Cruz, going out there raking in all kinds of RBIs and doing it with only 1 home run. It's a lot of clutch hitting.
The man at the plate now has a very good chance to take both of those guys out of the Astros record books. Only June 17th, and Gaddis has 22 RBIs. Evan pops one high in the air, pretty deep to left center field. Almonte going back there, and he will make the catch as he crosses over onto the warning track. Gaddis just got under that one. The Astros scored 2 in the first. Merrifield will lead off for Ned Yost, followed by Alex Gordon in left field. Mike Moustakas a DH day. Salvador Perez, we've already seen him behind the plate. Hunter Dozier at first base. Alcides Escobar, the shortstop. Ryan Goins at third. Abraham Almonte in center field. And Paulo Orlando in right.
Lance McCullers going for the Houston Astros. He's made 14 starts on this season. He owns an 8-3 record. 82 1/3 innings pitched, 81 strikeouts. Last time out against Oakland, he pitched well, going 7 innings, only gave up 2 earned runs. Had 3 walks, worked around those, and had 5 strikeouts. Great thing is he kept the baseball in the ballpark. That usually benefits Lance McCullers.
But Merrifield at the top of the lineup has done a real nice job for the Royals this season. He has moved into that leadoff spot since John Jay was traded by Kansas City, and he has hit .333 there, including a .365 first inning batting average. And starts him off with a strike. Now up and in, it's 1-1. McCullers, a 24-year-old, faced Kansas City twice last year, and both starts against the Royals went 7 innings. Plummer mentioned his last start, 7 innings in that one. He's gone 7 innings 5 times this year. Into right field, Josh Reddick drifts over near the foul line and makes the play for the first out of this bottom of the first.
Best in Texas Power Pitcher is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Lance McCullers against these Kansas City Royals in 4 starts. He has a 2.3 ERA, and what's great is he has 31 strikeouts, and the batting average against him is .152. I think in the times that Lance has seen these Kansas City Royals, that breaking ball has been exceptional, but the Kansas City Royals have shown that they have not the greatest ability to go out there and connect with that curveball, so Lance staying on it.
Alex Gordon, the batter. 3 on the right side of the infield in the shift for Gordon as Lance misses inside for ball 1. Gordon snapped an 0 for 13 streak with a base hit last night. Now 1 for 14 on the homestand. May notice it more with the Astros today with Father's Day on this Sunday. The light blue hats. The Royals, it more blends in with their uniform. Also light blue undershirts, wrist guards, shoes for many of the players.
Yeah, the amount of chrome these guys come out with on these special days is pretty impressive.
MLB continues its initiative to research and fight prostate cancer. Lance behind Gordon 3-0. That's a 4-pitch walk. Plummer mentioned Lance worked around some walks last start, 3 of them, and now a 4-pitch walk for the second batter of the game. It'll be a warm one out there today. We mentioned the feels like is 100. Lance is a kid who pitched in warm weather growing up in Tampa, Florida.
There is some cloud cover rolling through, though. That's got to benefit the fans and the players a little bit occasionally. Yesterday, that sun was out the entire game. It was warm.
Now here's Moose, Mike Moustakas. 3 for 9 with a home run against McCullers in his career. And Lance has missed with 5 in a row as he's upstairs to Moustakas. Coming in batting .259, leads the team in home runs 13, RBIs 46, and runs scored 33. Zone eluding McCullers early. It's 2-0. Lance has walked at least 2 in every start, going all the way back to his last start in April when he didn't walk anybody. 15 walks in 6 starts in May and 5 walks in 2 starts in June. There's a strike. It's 2-1. Lance still with a high ground ball rate, not quite as high as last year when it was 61.3%, but 55.6% this year is good for 6th in the American League. It's outside the zone here, and after a 4-pitch walk to Gordon, it's a hitter's count for Moustakas at 3-1. Curveball misses, and that's back-to-back walks, and will draw a visit from Brian McCann early on.
You know, it's interesting, too, because we know when Lance starts to struggle a little bit, they will put down that number 2 sign, try and get that breaking ball over, because that is the safety valve for Lance McCullers. But he's even unable to get that breaking ball over. And sometimes I feel like it's the mechanics of Lance McCullers. He's got such good flexibility in his shoulders and that arm. Sometimes he starts to rotate a little bit more than go downhill towards the plate. But he knows that. And again, he's a young pitcher trying to figure out the mechanics that are going to be able to maintain and get back in the strike zone. But he's got an opportunity here with Salvador Perez. We've seen Salvador Perez roll over plenty of ground balls in this series so far.
Royals as a team have hit into the most double plays in all of baseball with 69, 1 more than the Astros. Lance gets a swing and a miss from Perez. It's 0-1.
And even after those walks, Perez aggressive, trying to sit on the fastball, but Lance pulls the string here. It's a good pitch.
Perez has hit into a team leading 11 double plays this season, including 1 in the opening game on Friday night. Lance would take either the strikeout or the ground ball out. And it's hard hit past Alex Bregman into left field. Gordon will get to third, and it's close at third. Nobody was covering there. Gordon had to go back to second. And McCullers had to come over to cover third because Bregman went for that line drive.
This is a pretty good idea by Marwin to come over there. I'm kind of curious if Carlos Correa doesn't cut that ball off. Does Lance McCullers have a chance to make a tag or step on third base right here? Because he was setting up for that throw. You could see he was a little disappointed that Correa got in the way of that one. He wasn't well prepared for it. I think he might have gotten him.
Would have been close.
That's the second time I've seen Alex get a bad break on a line drive here in a couple of day games. Sometimes it's very tough to pick the baseball up off the bat on some of these day games. It's bright. The shirts in the stands are usually light colored. There's a lot going on in the background.
So Perez's base hit loads the bases with one out. Hunter Dozier grounds one towards third. Bregman's going to come home, and he's short hopped it. Safe at home plate. Bregman chose to come home on a potential double play ground ball, and he short hopped the throw to McCann, and the Royals get a run back. It's now 2-1.
And Alex Bregman did not step on third base, so not even an out recorded. That ground ball was taking him to third base. And I think the initial intent was to step on the bag and go across the diamond, but he saw an opportunity to throw home and get the runner out at home. Looks like he never really had a good grip on that throw either. Maybe trying to do a little too much instead of trying to take the play that's right in front of him. It's an early 2-0 lead for the Houston Astros. Even if you don't complete the double play, at least stepping on third base gets you that second out.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. There needs to be at least one out made there, maybe two. Here's Alcides Escobar in a 2-1 game, taking a curveball for a strike. It'll be a fielder's choice. Error on Bregman, allowing the run to score. Most of Bregman's errors this year have been throwing errors. Slow chopper towards third. McCullers bare hands throws one hopper out at first base is Escobar. What a play by Lance. A run scores to tie the game, but McCullers makes a great play.
That was an incredible play. He wasn't going to let anybody else deal with this one. He was going to take care of it himself, and he did. Bare hand falling away from first base, throws a nice long hop. Ball chopped by Escobar, and here comes Lance right out of the picture. Bare hand on the hop. That's an extremely athletic move. Yuli hanging in there. There's a little bit of contact, but not enough to hurt anybody, thankfully. But what a play.
Now Lance can see his way out of this inning. Both walks have come in to score. Now the Royals with second and third and 2 outs. McCullers going after Ryan Goins. Owens takes a strike.
One more look at it.
Dallas Keuchel in the first game of this series. Pitched 6 innings, allowed 2 runs. They were both unearned. These 2 runs against Lance this inning should be unearned with the error on Alex Bregman. Chopper over McCullers' head. Correa will charge and make the play on the move. Royals get 2 back. A couple of walks hurt McCullers in that inning. It's 2-2.
gives you energy. Marwin Gonzalez in the last 4 games has been tearing the cover off the ball. OPS over 1,700, 8 for 14. And he has scored 4 runs in doing so. We've seen him let the ball travel. We've seen him go the other way. We've seen him trying to drive the ball out of the ballpark to the pull side, but it's been on both sides of the plate. That's what makes it even more impressive to me. Having been a switch hitter and being locked in like Marwin, that is a very good feeling.
Now with Marwin rolling and Josh Reddick having a good road trip, we've seen the resurgence of Evan Gattis now for about 5.5 weeks. This lineup has gotten much more thick than we saw earlier in the season. Marwin batting in the number 8 spot, despite the best batting average in Major League Baseball in the month of June at 471. 526 on base percentage as well. Both teams scoring 2 in the first inning. The 2 scored by Kansas City were both unearned. Astros getting 2 on an RBI single by Correa and an RBI single by Yuli. Astros trying to do something that's only happened 4 times in the last 60 years, and that's have a road trip of 10-0 or better. Marwin around the bunt, keeps it fair. Goins on 1 hop, makes the play for out number 1. Keller just 22 years old. He was originally selected in the 8th round by the Arizona Diamondbacks, but had a couple of pre-draft workouts with the Kansas City Royals, and they were really high on him. Had met with Brad and his family. Flowery Branch High School in Georgia, not far from where Brian McCann lives. McCann bats with 1 out and nobody on. But the Diamondbacks beat the Royals to the punch when they drafted Keller, and then this past offseason, the winter meetings at the Rule 5 draft, Keller was selected by Cincinnati, number 5 in the Rule 5 draft. Keller called all his family and friends and said, hey, I'll be pitching for the Reds at the big league level this year. And his agent called him back quickly and said, you've just been traded to the Kansas City Royals. McCann not only loses his bat, but part of it chips away as it hit the wall.
Yeah, I mean, that brings a whole new level of throwing the head at it. Batting gloves get wet. Sometimes there's not enough stickum or pine tar, but when he launched it back to the screen, like Todd was saying, hit that brick wall and splintered off a little bit.
You can tell McCann's already a little overheated. It's going to be a long day for him behind the plate.
Yeah, he's not one of those guys that really hides it well.
0-2 pitch is ripped into right field. How about that? New baseball bat. And that had a hit in it on the first swing he took. McCann, a 1-out base runner.
It was a good pickup by Bobby the Bat Boy. Good swing by Brian, sitting on that heater, and a good piece of wood out there. Gets the barrel to it and hits a bullet through that shift that is always being played against him. See Merrifield deep right field, unable to get over there and make that play.
George ground 1 to the right side. Merrifield is short for 1, and they turn a double play. The Astros now tied with the Royals for the most double plays as an offense in Major League Baseball.
substantial following the game. The lot will play on El Grande for all fans in attendance. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/movie day. Here's Lance McCullers Jr. A couple of walks for him in the first inning would end up scoring, but we saw him try to get the ball on the ground. He's been talking about this recently, saying that the difference for him this year, where he's grown in the game, is making adjustments in game rather than reflecting back saying, I should have done this. He's also trying to extend his outings, go a little bit deeper, and with that, he said, you know, back in my earlier days, I'd have men on base and I'd go straight punch-out mode, wasting 25, 30 pitches in that inning. But now he'll sacrifice the double play, or he'll sacrifice the sac fly, giving up early runs, knowing that he can turn maybe what would have been a 5-inning outing to maybe 6, 7, 8. So for him, that changeup has been a big difference, a big help. We saw him use that in the first inning as well. But he said, I can steal outs with that pitch. Every time I can get an out with my changeup, I feel like I'm stealing one, because he still has his 2 primary pitches that he hasn't exposed too much early in the game, guys.
It's a good thought by him, and at some point, if he keeps having this success with a changeup, he's not going to feel like he's stealing one. He's going to feel like this is a major weapon for him. I mean, he's got a 22% whiff percentage with that changeup, and batters only have 4 hits all year against it. It's become 4 for 35, a 114 average. It's become as elite in a shorter sample size as his curveball has been in his career.
There it is. No, but he's saying all the right things, and a lot of, you know, talent will get you to the big leagues. And Lance McCullers Jr. is an obvious talent. He's got a really good arm. He's got a wicked breaking ball, and that's basically what got him to the big leagues and sustained him for the first 2 or 3 years. Now he's mixing in that changeup, but he's also having the mentality of, how do I make the adjustment to get deeper in ball games? And I think that's a maturation process. It's a thought process, but that's where it has to start. If he's not thinking about it, there's no willingness to go out there and do it.
2-2 pitch on the inside corner, a fastball that ran back over the plate. Almonte didn't think so. John Tempane, the home plate umpire, calls him out on strikes.
Yeah, he dropped the hammer on him. And this is what we're talking about. Everything moving forward for Lance McCullers. 2015 to 17, he was primarily fastball, curveball, and we saw a lot of games where that curveball dominated over the fastball. 2018, we've seen that changeup jump 7%. That last start, it had jumped extremely against a lot of the left-handed hitters in that Oakland A's lineup. So that is what he's doing. It's another weapon, yes, but it's also a weapon that he can use a lot or pull back a little bit depending on the lineups that he's facing. You get a lot of left-handed hitters in there. They can throw that changeup, use the outside part of the home plate to get some swings and misses. It's also a good pitch to roll over and get ground balls.
Changeup usage. You saw the percentages over 17% this year. Last year it was at 11.4%. Lance gets a pop-up. Lance wants to catch it himself, and he gets called off by Alex Bregman. Good thing Lance backed off at the last second, because Lance wanted that one for himself. 2 outs. Part of the maturation process, and sometimes we have to remind ourselves he's only 24, is that an inning like last inning could have easily gotten away from him in the past. A frustrating error there on a bases loaded ground ball.
2 walks.
2 walks.
Yeah.
And he got through that and made a great play defensively himself, and got through that with just 2 unearned runs, and then see what happens this inning. But he may be able to put those wheels back on, and ended up going 6 or 7, as Whit Merrifield does not feel very good after fouling that pitch off his foot.
Oh, I can't wait till we get a replay of this pitch. He wanted to throw this pitch outside, and it ended up running right back in. Almost, that was a self-defense swing, I felt like, from Whit Merrifield, because that ball ran so much.
He's in some excessive pain right now.
He must have gotten that knee or that knee cap. Hopefully it isn't that bad. It's like the trainer's reaching for that inside part of that knee.
That is not a good spot.
And that's the thing, is I would imagine Whit Merrifield, if you asked him about this pitch, he saw that pitch up out over the plate, but then it just continued to run right at him. This is excessive movement.
Wow.
Running well in off the plate. Oh man, right off the front of the knee.
That's not good.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it'd be recommended that he stays in this ball game. Ned Yost is pointing to the dugout.
The Royals added 3 players to their roster today, as they made a lot of different changes. Jorge Soler went on the DL. They recalled out Adalberto Mondesi, an outfielder. Rosel Herrera, Mondesi an infielder, and Herrera an outfielder, and also right-handed reliever Willie Peralta added to the roster. Slowly and gingerly, Merrifield leaving the batter circle, so
Man, that's terrible.
I'm going to see somebody come in for him here. We'll just wait to see who it is.
Arguably the best hitter in their lineup.
Has been for the last month plus, Blummer.
Yeah, I mean, he is a doubles machine. But he puts together some great ABs, plays second base and right field very well. But man, that's hopefully that's not too long for the Kansas City Royals. It's hard enough for them to score runs as it is.
So batting for him with an 0-1 count will be Adalberto Mondesi, just recalled today. Mondesi, 22 years old, out of the Dominican Republic. You may recognize the last name. His full name is Raul Adalberto Mondesi. His brother is Raul Jr., who played in a couple of organizations, Milwaukee and Tampa Bay. And Adalberto with the Royals swings and misses, and now down to the count 0-2.
This is the part of the ballgame where I get to ask you who this AB benefits, who's going to account for it.
0-1 should go to the guy that accepts the at bat at this point, as Mondesi goes down swinging, as Lance picks up 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 second inning.
HEB, and we're looking at Alex Bregman. Really, no player has done more. Look at this guy. He's reached base safely in 28 straight games now with the base hit in the first inning, and had back-to-back home runs in his last 2. So shown a little bit of pop here recently, asking him about that. He's also driving in runs. He said, I got to credit the guys around me. This offense is just clicking right now, and it's very contagious. Everyone feels good as they step into the box. But for Alex, it goes well back into, I should say, April for him. As soon as he dropped down in that order, he did not like it right there, and he was told to control the strike zone a little bit better, and so he did exactly that, drawing the walks, being a really patient hitter, moved up into the 2 spot, and he's been rolling ever since, guys. Yeah,
he has 28 games in a row, been on base with that OPS near 930 during that stretch as he takes a called strike. Adalberto Mondesi, who came on as a pinch hitter for Whit Merrifield, has stayed in the game. They had to shift him over. He was playing closer to a normal second base, and they shift with Alex Bregman hitting, so he's now on the third base side of the bag. Alex Singleton scored his first time up. Astros scored 2 in the first, as did the Royals. Now it's 2-1. Keller, mentioned a Rule 5 pick after starting the year in the bullpen and doing well there. This is his 4th game as a starter as Bregman sends one to right field. Back there to make the play is Orlando for out number 1.
Looks to have a pretty good arm. There's a little bit of that cut fastball. You can see some of the swings from the Astros, kind of a little bit of a hesitation because of the late movement. This kid's built too. It's not a small creature.
He's a big guy that the Royals wish they drafted when he was taken by Arizona in the 8th round. They kept an eye on him throughout his career with the Diamondbacks, and then when he was left unprotected, worked out a deal once Cincinnati selected him in the Rule 5 draft. Here's Jose Altuve. And it's not like Cincinnati selected him and all of a sudden Kansas City called and said, hey, can we try and trade for him? That's one of those deals where Kansas City will say, hey, we'd like this guy. If you're able to draft him in the Rule 5 pick, we'll give you X, in this case, future considerations. Kind of worked out that deal, and it ended up where he's pitching now in the Royals rotation ahead of Altuve 0-2 after walking him his first time up. It's the edge. It's 1-2. Last start was the most pitches and the most innings for the young right-hander in his career. 85 pitches, 5 1/3 innings. Now he's been stretched out a little bit in his 4th start. Went 3, 4 1/3, then 5 1/3. So now we may see close to 100 pitches today. Altuve going back to that spray. That spray is getting a lot of work in this warm and humid weekend series against Kansas City. It's the tackiness.
Yeah, it might be the same stuff you use to keep your hair looking so good on camera.
3-2. Wondering where that went.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, there's all kinds of sprays. There's that Manny Moto stick we talked about. There's also just good old-fashioned pine tar. But pine tar on these hot days can turn into a little more of a liquid substance and not be as tacky as normal. But everybody's got those different preferences too.
Altuve, Bregman going with that spray that's been on the on-deck circle the whole weekend. Evan Gattis goes just barehanded and grabs a piece of wood.
It's very natural, eco-friendly.
Another 3-2 pitch, and Altuve fouls another one away. Well, if you're 22 years old and you've made 3 career starts and now you're facing the defending world champions who are on an absolute tear offensively, it doesn't help your ego at all to see the previous 2 pitchers in this series give up 6 and 7 runs respectively. See how he fares today on the 3-2 delivery to Altuve. Just missed. Good take by Altuve. Keller wanted that call. Instead, Jose has drawn his 2nd walk.
Give Dad the gift of baseball with MLB.tv. Watch baseball live or on demand on his favorite supported devices. Save 50% now through Father's Day. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Better get that done today to take advantage. 24 seam fastballs of 34 pitches thrown by Keller today. Correa singled on a little bloop hit his first time up. This time he grounds one to second. Mondesi will flip it to Escobar, and another double play hit into by the Houston Astros. Amazing how many double plays they've hit into during this winning streak. 2-2 game.
I've always kind of said about my dad is, you know, he didn't grow up like, you know, he wanted to be a dad first, and he wanted to be that, you know, and he was the best dad he could have possibly been. You know, just really, he was definitely, he didn't push you like in any direction, but if you wanted to go with something, he would definitely drive that ship with you. So I think that's one of my biggest lessons is the way he treated us growing up, the way he treated my mom, the way he still treats my mom. You know, just you know, be a good father, be a good husband, and you know, everything else kind of falls in place.
Lance McCullers Jr. talking about Lance McCullers Sr. on this Father's Day. Hope all you dads out there are enjoying a fun Sunday afternoon as we wish all dads out there a happy Father's Day 2018. Lance will face Alex Gordon here. Start the bottom half of the third inning. Gordon into the shift, hits it sharply, but on 2 hops to Altuve, and he's the first out. Well, the good news, Plummer, with all these double plays the Astros have hit into is they continue their winning streak despite hitting into all these double plays. It's almost like the double plays are part of their winning streak somehow.
It's all incorporated. They're winning and speeding up the game at the same time, which is incredible. But their on-base percentage has become so high on this road trip, this winning streak that they're on, that it creates the opportunity to have these double plays, and they've taken full advantage, it seems like.
17 double plays during the 10-game winning streak, and 2 more today. So almost 2 a game. And they have not only come from far behind to catch the Royals, they have now passed the Royals for hitting into the most double plays in baseball.
Just another category they're leading in.
Here's Mike Moustakas.
Well, the other crazy thing about that is they've also jumped their batting average as a team with runners in scoring position. They're now leading the league, hitting .284 with runners in scoring position.
They're leading the league in pretty much everything. The Astros taking over during this winning streak the major league best runs scored. There's a ball in the center field for a base hit. Moustakas lines a single to center. Only the second hit allowed by McCullers. Astros now leading in baseball in runs scored and leading in fewest runs allowed. That's quite a combination. Obviously, they're leading in run differential as well. They're up to plus 154 coming into today. Here's Salvador Perez. He has the other hit in addition to the single there by Moustakas. Swings and misses 0-1. Lance ahead. No balls and 2 strikes.
Nicely done, doubling up on the changeup, and 2 very good changeups. I wouldn't be mad at him if he threw another one.
Triple.
It's tough to do sometimes. You got to make it a good pitch if you're going to triple up on it, especially in an 0-2 count. You want to get it too close to being in the zone.
See Devo do that occasionally. That one bounces away from McCann. The second goes Gordon. He makes the wide turn, but he'll stay there.
He tripled up on it, but was a little egregious in trying to stay out of the zone.
Lance throwing 3 consecutive changeups to Salvador Perez. It's now 1-2. Wild pitch takes the double play out of order. There's a line drive base hit to left. Perez 2 for 2. Gordon being waved around. The throw by Marwin is in time. What a throw by Marwin Gonzalez. didn't look like he had a shot to get Mike Moustakas coming around, but Marwin threw one on the money on one hop to Brian McCann for the out.
That was a seed out of the right arm of Marwin Gonzalez. This is the 4th changeup in a row, but this one tails back to the inside corner, and Salvador Perez drops the head on it, rakes it into left. But my goodness, did Marwin come up firing. He has got one of the more underrated arms in all of baseball for me.
Ned Yost wants to challenge this one. See the hand get in a little bit?
I'm not sure. I was just watching the replay because Marwin Gonzalez is an infielder, and he took an extra step to make sure he got enough behind this throw to make it close at home. They just replayed it here on the Jumbotron in Kansas City, and the fans think it's going to go Kansas City's way, but I am not entirely sure because I can't tell when that tag gets on the arm.
The fact that it was even a close play is remarkable.
I agree with you because that ball jumped out of the hand of Marwin Gonzalez.
For now, the call is out.
I've got velocity on Marwin's throw. As we wait and check out the replays, Marwin standing in the dugout or in the bullpen getting a sip of water because he unleashed the fury. 95.9 miles an hour was the velocity on that throw from Marwin Gonzalez.
Wow. Well, if it was a quick review, you would think it would go against the Astros. The longer the review takes, the more you're hopeful that there's not enough to overturn it.
Watch a lot of court TV, huh?
Watch a lot of reviews from New York. Live from New York. Another MLB review. Marwin chilling out with the relievers right now. Not a bad idea on this warm Sunday. Get out of the sun. And they're a fun group back there. Home plate umpire John Tumpane on the headsets, along with the crew chief Mark Wegner. And we will have a decision from New York. Out! How about that? Marwin gets an assist as he throws a bullet from left.
Gosh, that was a great throw, and great job by Brian McCann holding in there, holding his ground, let that ball travel, and then the swipe tag. That's right.
What did you notice in that shot?
No sweatshirt.
It's that warm today. That Oso Blanco is going without the hoodie.
Took off the fur coat.
So how about that? Lance giving up back-to-back hits and getting it out on a tremendous throw by Marwin Gonzalez. Ned Yost thought the whole time during that review he was going to get that one.
Am I the only one that's entertained by the fact that managers go out and get mad at the umpires on the field when the guys in New York made the final call? They're just, you know, victims of circumstance.
But what are they supposed to do?
That's what I mean. That's why it cracks me up. I'm going to go out there and I'm yelling at you because I can't scream all the way to New York.
Right. And now he's gone.
Oh, he got him.
That's enough. John Tumpane's heard enough. Oh, that's Moustakas that may have gotten tossed. I'm not sure if it was Yost or Moustakas.
Yeah, Moose is down there right next to him.
But now why is Moose arguing with Tumpane? He didn't make the call from New York.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't understand. And they made it. We knew when this replay came into play that once that New York made the call, that was it. And if you argue the call in New York, you're going to get ejected. Well, Moustakas did not relent.
Trying to think, if it is Moose that gets tossed, the reason he may be angry is because if Tumpane calls him safe initially, it probably stays safe.
Yes. Because there was nothing to overturn that.
Thing about a DH is it'll take us a while to figure out if he's still in the game or not.
Yeah.
But they may be able to announce it up here at the press box. Ned Yost is getting his money's worth right now.
Well, that's what makes me wonder if Moustakas got thrown out. Because if I'm a player and I get ejected from the dugout, I'm going to go get my money's worth. Because I'm going to pay someone something, and he might as well get some of it too.
I could have sworn I heard Tumpane over our crowd mic say Moose.
I'm with you on that.
Now Mark Wegner, the crew chief, will wear it the rest of the way, and Ned Yost has had his say. We'll see if Moose stays in the dugout or not. For now, he's still there.
I think Moose is the one that's going to end up going.
Oh, not yet. They're both still there.
How about the hose from Marwin?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Let's get back to Marwin.
Yeah, that was really good. I was thoroughly impressed. He set up so nicely and unloaded that thing, and it seemed like it was on an absolute dart to home plate.
We just had a moose crossing into the clubhouse.
There we go. The moose is no longer loose.
Nope. He got a little too loose.
Yeah.
Apparently, for John Tumpain's liking. So the game stays tied on a tremendous throw by Marwin Gonzalez. What'd you have it at,
95.9. I'm just going to round up and say 96 miles an hour out of the arm of Marwin Gonzalez.
That's one of those throws that when the runner's coming around third, you're thinking there's no chance.
And that's one of the biggest delusions for every runner is you think you can outrun the baseball. No, you cannot. That was a 200-foot laser beam, by the way, too.
Now it's 3-2 on Hunter Dozier, who grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up. So with this inning, with the review and then the ejection of Mike Moustakas, it's been a lengthy one. You'd like to see if Lance can get through this inning and get his team back in the dugout here. Keep the game tied at 2. Ball hit well into left field, sending Marwin all the way back. Springer back there as well, and this ball's gone. 2-run home run, Hunter Dozier. Third home run for Dozier in his 101st at bat of the season, and the Royals lead 4-2.
That was a hanging breaking ball out over the plate. Hunter Dozier taking advantage of a mistake. Ball hit pretty well. These hot humid days has a tendency to carry a little bit more. That was a big swing after a big play from Marwin.
So one of the rare times during this road trip, the Astros trailing 4-2 in the third inning. Here's Alcides Escobar. Escobar retired on a great play by Lance's first time up. Ball's popped high in the air into shallow left center. Marwin and George converge. It's Springer who makes the call and the catch, and that'll do it for the Royals. Kansas City takes a 4-2 lead.
They did get a big swing, but it could have been worse if it wasn't for the arm of Marwin Gonzalez. 96 miles an hour on a 200-foot line drive to get that out at home plate. That was very nicely done.
dads out there and the Astros dads as well. There's a couple here watching their sons play for the Houston Astros, including George Springer. This is George Springer Jr., George Springer the third in the dugout right now. Happy Father's Day to you. I know you're not a father to just George. You've got a couple of daughters in there. Granddad, are you having a good day?
I'm having a great day.
Good. You're here. You're from Connecticut, too, so you guys are enjoying the heat in Kansas City.
We are. We are. It's getting a little warm in Connecticut, too, but this is great. No place better to be than at the ballpark on a day like this.
Watching the Astros win as well. I want to know what George was like as a kid, because the George we see, so much energy. What was he like growing up?
The same. He was somebody with a lot of curiosity about a lot of things, extraordinarily active child, great sense of humor, great son for Marie and I. Never had any problems whatsoever. He was just terrific, and a great brother to his sisters. And you know, I have a lot of fond memories of those days. A lot of chaos in our house. I have two daughters who are also really, really good athletes, and a lot of competitive spirit. So it was a lot of fun back in the day.
Absolutely. You were a great athlete as well. But when did you know that George was going to be a superstar, especially when it comes to baseball?
You know, to have the opportunity to be able to play at this level is an enormous privilege. And there's so much talent that you can't really predict, you know, even at a very early age, that this is going to be the final stop. I certainly believed a great deal as he got older that he had an opportunity to get here and to stay here. And obviously I'm really thrilled with all the success that he's had. But I remember a number of things when he was younger that are sort of points where you go, boy, you know, he's got some unusual gifts. And I remember one in particular where he had a Little League game and I was coaching his minor league team. And I went downstairs and he's in his bed, and it's the night before, and he's in his uniform, fully dressed as he often was, very excited about the game. And he's got a ball and he's throwing it up and down, throwing it up and down. And I asked him, I said, George, what are you doing? He says, well, I'm thinking about the game tomorrow. And I'm saying, thinking about the game tomorrow? He said, yeah, we're playing the Red Sox. And I go, okay. And he goes, yeah, and Danny Scroll's going to pitch. And I said, yeah, well, so what? He's like, well, I'm thinking about my approach in the batter's box. And I went, oh, my goodness. He's 7 years old. And I walked upstairs and said to my wife, we got something here. So I'll have to work hard not to screw this up.
You have not done that. You know, congrats on all the success. I know it's with your family, too, as Evan Gaddis reaches here with a base hit. So I get another question in as well. But to be able to enjoy last year's run as a family, you guys were everywhere. I saw you at almost, I think, at every game. What was that experience like as a dad?
Amazing, surreal. You know, it's really hard to capture. You know, for me, I get thrills just to see him run out of the dugout with that uniform on every game. It never gets old for me. But to have that opportunity, to be able to have that experience, you know, to see him fulfill the childhood dream of not only playing in the big leagues, but being a big league champion on the biggest stage possible, that's just something I'm never going to forget. Glad that I was there to experience it.
Let's do it again, George. Come hang out with us in the postseason again.
I agree.
Well, thank you so much again. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you so much, Julie.
And thanks for being with us. All right, guys, then send it over to you.
All right, Julie, nicely done. Tell him Happy Father's Day as well from us. George Sr., great guy that we all see around the ballpark, whether it's on the road or back at Minute Maid Park. Marwin Gonzalez bats with a 1-1 count. 2 outs, Evan Gaddis on first with a single. Yuli Gurriel hit the ball hard but lined out, and then Josh Reddick grounded out to second. Keller's had a good pitch count going against the Astros today. Coming into this inning with 35 pitches through 3 innings. Even when the Astros scored 2 runs and had 4 consecutive runners reach base, we're getting to him early in counts. Pitch misses away. It's 3-1, and with Marwin at the plate, he can lock in right now, and he has been locked in from both sides, lefty and righty.
Hit a homer.
After that play?
Yeah. Just do it all. Good swing. Like it. See if he challenges him again. That was a good swing by Marwin. When you're going well and you foul a ball back like that, knowing you just missed it, you understand how to make that just minuscule adjustment to get the head out to it. So I would imagine if Keller tries to attack him again with that same fastball, Marwin's going to put just as good, if not a better swing on it.
He has thrown this year 88.8% of his pitches against lefties as the fastball. Throws it again. This one up out of the zone with Gaddis on the move with 2 outs. Astros now have runners on first and second. Watch the Astros in more ways than ever before by downloading the new AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit attsportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you are all set. It's available for those with an AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscriptions. Blackouts and territorial restrictions do apply.
I wonder if that hat on the left, it was an emergency purchase because of the heat.
I would say that's a good call, Plummer. What gave it away? Yeah, that's a
It really matched the jersey.
Yeah, that's an Astros fan through and through, and they need a little protection on this warm day, and that's all he had to choose from.
Hey, a little extra coverage.
Could turn it inside out, unless it's one of those reversibles. Here's Brian McCann with a 1-0 count. McCann singled his first time up. And a called strike. It's 1-1.
Changeup, a very rare changeup.
Yeah, less than 5 changeups on the season, so that's extremely rare. McCann takes it down and in. It's 2-1. Just heard Julia talking to George Sr. Chance that George Jr. will get an opportunity to bat with the bases loaded if McCann draws a walk here. Towards the left field line. If it stays fair, it scores a run. It will. Evan Gaddis will score. Marwin heading to third. He is safe. Astros now down 4-3 on the opposite field RBI single by Brian McCann.
That was delicious. Little soft serve out there in shallow left field for an RBI. Second hit of the day for Brian McCann. Up and gets destroyed a little bit, but just puts it in the perfect spot out there in left field. Evan Gaddis scoring easily. Marwin going first to third. It was beautiful.
Now here's Springer. 2 on, 2 outs. George has grounded into a double play and grounded out. Takes a called strike. We mentioned the only 2 guys on this trip that were hitting below their average was McCann and Springer. Well, McCann's done his job. He's 2 for 2 today after a 2 for 15 start to the road trip. See if George can get things going. Sends one high in the air to right field. Playable. Orlando is there. And the Astros score 1, strand 2, and trail 4-3 heading to the bottom of the 4th. Always a temptation to jump in there, but that will cost you your ticket for the day. As the Royals are leading the Astros 4-3, heading to the bottom half of the fourth inning.
Might be worth it today.
Lance will face the bottom third of the order for the Royals. Ryan Goins, Abraham Almonte, and Paulo Orlando. Goins grounded out his first time up. And so far has allowed 4 hits and 4 runs, 2 of them earned. The home run by Dozier the last inning, and 2 of them unearned. Error by Bregman extended the first inning when the Royals scored 2. Lance coming in with 48 pitches through 3 innings. Couple of walks, couple of strikeouts today for the Astros right-hander. He's behind in the count, 2-0 here. Last inning we saw him throw a number of changeups. Fastball for a strike. It's making start number 15 on the season. Gets a ground ball towards Yuli. McCullers will cover and takes the flip in time. Goins is out number 1.
Got some league leaders brought to you by Houston Methodist. 72 games into the season, previous World Series champs and the following season record through those 72 games. The 2017 Chicago Cubs, after winning the World Series in 16 at a 37-35, kind of gives you an idea of how good the Astros are going. The Royals, after winning in 15, 38-34. But a lot of records close to that 500 record, whereas the Astros at 47-25 are doing extremely good.
It's a little bit of a mirror of last season, where they continue to hit well and play well away from home. 47-25, the second best Astros record in franchise history through 72 games, trailing only last year's team, which was 1 game better. And last year's team was much better on the road, at least in the regular season.
Yeah, they stepped it up in the postseason, which was good to see. But that the reason they stepped it up, I mean, the fact that they stepped it up in the postseason at home makes us wonder why they can't do it now in the regular season. And it's being greedy, but they are so good on the road in comparison to home. They're 2 runs better as a ball club per game on the road as opposed to home. And we just want to get a little greedy and get maybe a little 1-run differential per game.
2 runs per game, 72 games in. That's a lot.
That is a lot. It's a pretty substantial sample.
Today is game 40 of the road schedule for the season, which is basically the halfway point. Astros will hit the overall halfway point of their season in the penultimate game of the next homestand. They will be home for 19 out of 25 games coming into the All-Star break. Lance McCullers with a 1-2 count on Abraham Almonte. And a called third strike. Almonte didn't like the call in the first inning, and he doesn't like this call either. But Lance keeps painting that little 2-seamer with run on the inside corner. 2 away.
Well, that's the second time Almonte's gone down with that fastball inside running back. And this will give you a good idea of the movement he's creating. It is he also probably feels it's a little bit elevated, but in today's strike zone, that's a pretty good pitch just above the belt. And the sequencing in this inning has been tremendously interesting to me, because he started out, Ryan Goins, with 2 just absolutely awful breaking balls up and away to fall behind 2-0. Then he goes paint fastball, curveball, then gets the rollover on the ground ball. But this AB against Almonte was great, because he started with that 2-seam fastball inside, got ahead early with the heat, and then went to a changeup, got the swing and miss, then painted inside. So I think he's kind of making the adjustments, hopefully AB to AB, with some of the stuff he has.
You see the run there on the right-hand hitting Paulo Orlando, who fouls it away. And now it's 0-2. That running fastball caused an injury earlier in this game to Whit Merrifield, who had to leave with a left medial knee contusion. He is day-to-day. He fouled one directly off his left kneecap. And replaced in the game by Alberto Mondesi. That one misses inside. It's 1-2. Lance had a 1-2-3 inning in the second with a couple of strikeouts, looking for a 1-2-3 inning here in the fourth. (4-0) in Arlington to start this road trip. 3-0 in Oakland. 2-0 in Kansas City so far, but down today 4-3. Popped up, shallow right. Yuli out. Reddick in. Who wants it? Nobody. Yuli will eventually throw it back in. Kind of in that in-between zone, right in the middle, the right fielder and first baseman.
Ultimately, you're just glad that everybody walks away from this play, because that looked like it was going to get dangerous there for a little bit. It was a great pitch by Lance McCullers off the end of the bat and drifting out there. You could tell that Yuli drifting out there was kind of feeling that Josh Reddick was going to have an opportunity, but I think it was a great job by Josh Reddick to pull up early, avoid contact. Things got a little messy there for a bit.
Reddick had to repair his divot. So a little bloop double by Orlando, and now Adalberto Mondesi bats. Mondesi takes a called strike. Mondesi struck out as a pinch hitter his first time up. He had quite an interesting major league debut, did the son of Raul Mondesi. Adalberto Mondesi made his debut in Game 3 of the 2015 World Series, becoming the first player ever to make his big league debut in the Fall Classic. Down to the count here, 0-2. Lance got him with a breaking ball last time. This time the breaking ball is down low. It's 1-2. Mondesi just called up today. One of 3 moves for the Kansas City Royals. We're still not sure who the DH is, as Mike Moustakas was ejected in this game. Swing and a miss. Lance gets him on the curveball again. Mondesi goes down on strikes. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Lance. To his last 162. Those are his projected, or those are his numbers for what you would say is a full 162 game season.
Yeah, and that's right on the button where I think he should be. He's going to hit a ton of doubles, but the 22 home runs and 86 RBIs are great. And in the world, or I'm sorry, in the ALDS, slow down one of these swings, and he's another guy that brings the hands in nicely, but his head stays so still, and at contact he's got that power L with the power behind it. But look at the torque and all the pressure he puts on that front leg coming through, trying to drive that baseball, and eventually he'll finish in that great launch angle, putting the ball out of the ballpark at Minute Maid Park. Nice short compact swing from Alex Bregman, and he's a guy that I think could put up numbers like that for a very long time, just for the reason that his swing is so simple. There's not a ton of mechanical issues with that swing.
Off the end of his bat, Keller will make the play himself on the underhand toss to Dozier for the first out of the 5th inning. Alex now 1 for 3. We'll see how Keller fares against this Astros lineup third time through. Hasn't had a whole lot of experience at the big league level going through a lineup for the third time. Mentioned his last start was the longest of his young career at 5 1/3 innings against the A's. So 85 pitches. His last start was the most he's thrown in his previous 3 starts. All 3 of them were his entire resume as a starter. Altuve into right field for a hit. Jose's been on base all 3 times. That's now 99 hits on the season for Altuve, and he's a 1-out base runner. Every Tuesday night home game is Dollar Dog Night, presented by Nolan Ryan Beef. Enjoy all the dollar dogs you can eat during this Tuesday's Astros-Rays game. For tickets to Dollar Dog Night, visit astros.com/dollardogs or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Not only is it Dollar Dog Night on Tuesday, but it's a good pitching matchup. Justin Verlander against the Rays' Blake Snell.
One of the starters they actually let start.
Yeah, not an opening pitcher, but a true starter.
Is that what we're calling it?
Opening pitcher tomorrow, to be determined based on who pitches today against the Yankees.
Awesome.
There are starting pitchers like Snell and Nathan Eovaldi who will pitch on Wednesday. Then there's opening pitchers chosen from the bullpen. Here's Carlos Correa taking a fastball in for a ball. It's 1-0. Correa singled and grounded in to the Astros' 70th double play of the year. And they're 19th during this winning streak. So all double plays do not necessarily portend bad things for the Astros. Here's a ball in the dirt. It's 2-0. Now Altuve with another hit on the road. That average right around 400, best in baseball. He's hitting 382 on the trip, and he's dropped his road batting average. Astros down 1. Correa with a 2-0 count and takes a called strike. Carlos hasn't been too shabby on the road either, hitting at 323. That's 6th best in the American League. Keller keeps trying to get inside on Correa. Now the count's 3-1.
It's old school pitching philosophy. Hard in, soft away.
There's a strike. Counts full. Keller doesn't have a strikeout in this game. Altuve with a 3-2 count leads the team in stolen bases. He may be off and running here with 1 out. He is going, and the pitch is grounded softly towards third on a broken bat. Goins throw in time. Altuve to second with 2 away. Kept coming in on Correa. Eventually he was able to break his bat on the ground out. Well, if you look for a guy to hit with runners in scoring position, you can't pick a better one than the guy at the plate, Yuli Gurriel. Yuli a single his first time up with a runner in scoring position. Now he's got Altuve on second with 2 outs. Pitch outside for a ball. It's 1-0. Yuli is 13 for his last 21 with runners in scoring position. Last time he was retired, he hit the ball hard. He lined out right to the second baseman, Adalberto Mondesi. So he's 1 for 2 with a single and a line out. Astros trying to get this game tied up, down 4-3 in the 5th inning. Grounds one towards short. Escobar, and That'll do it for the Astros. Hit by Altuve. He's left on base. We're halfway home. It's Kansas City leading 4-3. Presented by Rooms to Go. When it's time to decorate, Rooms to Go makes it easy and fast, all at great low prices. By Volkswagen. And by Champion Energy Services, the exclusive electricity provider of the Houston Astros. Warm Saturday afternoon here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. The feels-like temperature at game time was 100 degrees. Alex Gordon leads things off, bottom of the fifth. Takes a breaking ball from Lance for a ball. It's 1-0. McCullers has struck out 4 in this game, 2 in the second, 2 in the fourth. He's also walked 2 and allowed 5 hits and 4 runs. Gordon fouls one back. It's 1-1. Learned yesterday after the game that Dallas Keuchel went through 3 jerseys on a warm Saturday. Not sure with Lance being from Tampa if he'll go through 3 today, but certainly you would expect him at some point to go to the backup uni. So things start to weigh a little more out there on the mound than you're comfortable with. There's a good breaking ball and kind of a half swing by Gordon for a strike. It's 1-2.
The technology even on some of the uniforms and jerseys these guys wear has gotten so much more advanced even from when I started playing. They've got those cool fit jerseys, but as light as they are, they do absorb a lot of perspiration. Because every once in a while you can see the color difference. The jersey will be a little bit darker than the pant.
Well, we know one thing, Brian McCann, when he gets on that flight, will be a little bit lighter than when he started the afternoon.
Yes. Deservedly so, too. Catching a ball game and going out there and getting some knocks.
A couple of hits already for B-Mac. 2-2 pitch, called third strike. That's the same pitch that he got Almonte with twice. That running 2-seamer on the inside corner freezes Alex Gordon, strikeout number 5. Hitter's just giving up on that thing.
And we talk about Lance, that catches the inside edge, maybe not to the joy of Alex Gordon, but enough to come back and get the call. And I think sometimes the deception of that ball running back towards the plate gives the idea that it is a strike and catching that corner. But that's a valuable pitch, because if you can get a hitter to give up on it and not even offer at it, that's incredible movement with velocity.
Well, we've learned who the new DH is. He was also just called up today, like Alberto Mondesi. It's Rosel Herrera, an outfielder. Herrera just up from AAA Omaha, facing Lance McCullers, and it's 0-2. Rosel Herrera was claimed off waivers from the Cincinnati Reds on June 2nd. Spent 3.5 weeks at the big league level with the Reds and made his big league debut on April 26th. But Lance makes quick work of him here, as he has to Mondesi as well. Lance now with 3 consecutive strikeouts and 6 in the game. Fan Cam is presented by GulloAuto.com. To all those dads out there, happy Father's Day today. You too, Blummer.
Appreciate you.
Hopefully everybody kicking back, enjoying a little Astros baseball, seeing if Houston can do something that has only been done 4 times in the last 60 years in the major leagues, and that's go 10-0 or better on a road trip. Last year, Cleveland went 11-0 on one of their trips when they were in the midst of that incredible 22-game winning streak. Here's Salvador Perez. Perez has a single in the first and also a single in the third. Looked like he was going to get an RBI, but Marwin Gonzalez with a tremendous throw, gunning down Mike Moustakas at home plate. Moustakas would eventually be ejected in this game from arguing from the dugout. Moustakas claimed he didn't say anything. Ed Yost had a pretty big argument with John Tumpane after that. Perez now 4 for 8 in his career against McCullers, with a couple of home runs. Down at the plate, it's 2-2. Astros starting the day still just a half game ahead of the Seattle Mariners, who continue to play great baseball. Another 1-run win last night against the Boston Red Sox. Mariners are 12-3 in the month of June and have won 22 of 28 games, going back to a streak that started the last 2 weeks of May. 2 pitches outside, and now the count's full. Called third strike. Lance strikes out the side, getting Perez looking for the final out. 7 strikeouts for McCullers, and it's 4-3 heading to the 6th in favor of the Royals.
Baseball ahead for the Houston Astros. They head home tonight to take on the Tampa Bay Rays for the next 3 days, and they will enjoy that day off on the 21st at home before the Kansas City Royals and Toronto Blue Jays come into town. Then it's back out on the road, back to Todd's old stomping grounds down in Tampa Bay before a day off and getting back into Texas. By the time they get back home, it will be after July 4th. July 5th starts a series at home against the Chicago White Sox.
I don't know about you. Maybe it was the winning on this road trip. The longest trip of the year hasn't been that bad.
No, it really hasn't. Good cities, decent hotels.
Day off.
Day off helps. Got my golf fix on.
You were hitting the ball nice. And another ejection. Before Josh Reddick bats in this inning, we have another ejection from the Royals dugout.
Is that Danny Duffy?
They are dropping like flies over there. Danny Duffy.
It's really hot. They want to go get some AC.
You're allowed to go as a starting pitcher who's not pitching. You're allowed to go back there without getting tossed. But now Duffy has left the game. John Tumpain ejecting Mike Moustakas earlier, and now Danny Duffy will have the rest of the afternoon to watch it on TV from the clubhouse. Reddick will lead things off against Brad Keller and takes one for a ball, 1-0. Keller's pitched well today against the world champion Astros, who have done damage against the previous 6 starters they have seen. No, he's allowed 3 runs. Pass ball didn't help him in the first when he gave up a couple of runs. Then a 2-out rally by the Astros in the 4th with Brian McCann looping one to left for an RBI. Josh Reddick against the shift grounds one to the left side of second base. He has the best average of anybody in baseball in 2017 against the shift. This week on Astros Bases Loaded, Baggy powers into the broadcast booth. El Oso Blanco talks about hitting the high ones, and AJ will flip the script on Julia. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded after the postgame show only on AT&T Sportsnet. Here's Evan Gattis. Gattis a single and 2 at bats, also flied out deep to left center field, a ball that he just got under and just missed hitting a 3-run home run. Gattis with 18 RBIs on this road trip. Bounces away, the tying run to second. Reddick will take a turn and watch to see if Perez gets there. He does. Josh advances on a wild pitch. I said Reddick had the best numbers against the shift, as you see it bounce in there, and almost no chance for Salvi. His plus minus of hits against the shift versus what he would have if they didn't shift him was the best in baseball last year. We saw that in the postseason against the Red Sox in a big spot in Game 4. One pitch, line drive, base hit. Reddick had to pause just a beat. And Alex Gordon has thrown out a lot of runners this year, including one in this series. So with nobody out, Gary Pettis holds Josh at third.
Yeah, good idea. We've seen Alex Gordon throw a couple of guys out on some fly balls. Tony Kemp at second, Jose Altuve at third base. But Evan Gattis just continuing to break out there. A little too close to Ryan Goins at third base. That's why you saw Josh Reddick freeze on the line drive, which is a smart move. Make sure it gets through and then put your head down and try and get to top speed and pick up your third base coach.
Now Marwin Gonzalez bats, one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball. In fact, no one with a higher batting average this month than Marwin coming into today. He's grounded out and walked. Takes a fastball for a strike. Astros now with 9 hits in the game. Been getting the double-digit hits on a regular basis during this winning streak as well.
Good take by Marwin on that changeup. Hot cold zones this month, hitting left-handed. A lot of red spots popping up. And also some discipline on that right-handed side. What I like on that right-handed side is the pitches down and away. He's able to stay on those and shoot those back up the middle in that opposite field gap. And Marwin starting to increase the hot zones inside that strike zone is good to see.
Outside, it's 2-1. Royals have bullpen action going for the first time today. Keller's longest outing of his career, his last start, 5 1/3 innings. Kevin McCarthy, who we saw here on Friday night, beginning to warm up.
I don't think Ned Yost wants to see this spiral out of control, because it can quickly with the hitters that the Astros have. It's the base runners that create traffic, and it's that pitch count. Todd mentioned it earlier in the game. 85 is the highest pitch count we've seen from Brad Keller this year.
Marwin holds up on a pitch away, and now it's 3-1.
It's a good job. So often when you're swinging the bat well, you want to stay disciplined in the zone. You don't want to expand. Now he's got himself in a great fastball count.
This is that one. It's 3-2.
Very similar to the AB. We saw Marwin go out there and get the walk last time up. Swung through a 3-1 fastball. He eventually took a fastball out of the zone to get on base.
Reddick on third, Gaddis on first. Nobody out in a 4-3 game. Fouled out of play.
The pitch getting in there at 95.
Keller's done a good job working in and out against the Astros hitters today, and occasionally getting in the kitchen. Saw him break a bat of Carlos Correa and also get a couple of double plays earlier in this game. Infield is back at the corners and kind of back in the middle and kind of in at the corners. Ball sliced foul.
And that pitch before that was a fastball in the inside corner. It looked like it blew up Marwin. I don't think he's thoroughly disappointed in the fact that he did foul that off. That was a pitcher's pitch, and you know that as a hitter sometimes. You're like, wow, he tried to get in there. He got in there, but I was able to foul it off and live another pitch.
Keller has worked 5 innings plus 2 batters. Does not have a strikeout in this game. Astros with 9 hits. 3 walks, swing and a miss. There's his first strikeout. Comes in a big spot. He's able to get Marwin here for the first out of the 6th.
Stayed with the fastball and elevated it. Got Marwin to chase out of the zone.
So now that I bring up Brian McCann. McCann with 2 hits on the game. Last one resulted in an RBI. He also singled past the shift his first time up. No shift here with runners on first and third and 1 out. McCann pops one foul out of play. McCann's primary thought right here is just thinking about hitting the ball somewhere deep into the outfield. Trying to stay away from a ground ball if possible. Here is a ground ball. For the 3rd time today, the Astros have grounded into a double play. First and third, nobody out, results in nothing. We head to the bottom of the 6th. It's still 4-3 KC.
looking at a plaque. Distinguished group. AA Buffet. Who am I? You know who it is. You know what to do. Tweet at ATT Sportsnet SW. And later in this ball game, we will reveal whether or not you are correct.
We headed to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Astros trailing 4-3. Frustrating top half. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Astros unable to score a run. McCullers will face Hunter Dozier, Alcides Escobar, and Ryan Goins in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Dozier gave the Royals the lead with a 2-run home run his last time up. That was an inning where Lance got a great throw by Marwin Gonzalez for the 2nd out of the inning. Marwin cutting down Mike Moustakas at the plate. Got ahead of the count to Dozier and then ran the count full, and a breaking ball was hit over the left center field wall for a 4-2 lead. Now Lance ahead of Dozier 0-2. Back through the middle. Altuve moves to his right, has to make a quick throw to get Dozier, and does. Nice play by the Astros second baseman for the 1st out of the 6th. Lance in his 4 previous starts against the Royals, one of them coming in the postseason in 2015, has gone 7, 7, 7, and 6 1/3 innings. All 3 regular season starts, he's gone at least 7 today. Not the best conditions for a pitcher to go deep into a game, but Lance has 82 pitches on the ledger right now in 5 1/3 innings. Swing and a miss by Escobar, who was grounded out on a very nice play by McCullers and also fly to center. Ground out came with the bases loaded, scored a run, but McCullers prevented further damage by making that play. Bounces a breaking ball. It's 1-1. Escobar has been watching that average dip down now at 207. He's 2 for his last 42. Lance misses in 2-1. Off the end of the bat, and that'll go foul. Count evens up. Lance with 7 strikeouts on the day. 5 of them have come in the last couple of innings. His 2 walks came back in the 1st, and they both came around to score. That home run by Dozier. Lance is now retired 8 of 9, and the only one to reach base with a little pop fly double by Paulo Orlando. Down and away, 3-2. Swing and a miss, strikeout number 8 for McCullers. Now 5 of the last 6 batters he has struck out.
Cheer on the Astros during every Friday night home game in the Stro Zone, presented by Texas Mahindra Dealers. This Friday's Stro Zone ticket holders can get an exclusive Charlie Morton CFM t-shirt. Visit astros.com/strozone now to purchase your tickets.
Here's Ryan Goins, 2 outs, bases cleared. Lance has got him on a couple of ground outs today, 1 to short, 1 to first. Charlie will pitch in that Tampa Bay series on Wednesday, final game of that 3-game set before the off day Thursday. Goins takes a call, strike, it's 1-1. The other thing unique about this winning streak for the Astros is that A.J. Hinch has had the opportunity to use his bullpen exactly the way he's wanted to. A lot of that has to do with the fact that they've had some big leads. A lot of times you'll see an 8, 9, 10-game winning streak and your bullpen is taxed. And so far, A.J.'s done a nice job with that pen because of the offense. Here's a ball ripped off the wall and right, going to the second base. Didn't miss a home run by a whole lot. Reddick gets it back in quickly, and Goins has a 2-out double.
Lance doesn't bury the breaking ball to the left-handed hitter. Sometimes they have a tendency to rake it. It stays on that down and in corner. You can see that thing spin up there like a cement mixer, just kind of grinding its way into the strike zone as Goins gets the barrel to it. Just missing that home run. Low launch angle led to that line drive. It was hit well. You know, on our matches from Supermo, you can see that ball just kind of spin in the middle part of the plate. Goins right on it.
Here's Abraham Almonte. He's been called out on a couple of strikes today. Both on the two-seamer running in on the inside corner. This one is away, 1-0. 6 hits for the Kansas City Royals against McCullers. And the Astros have bullpen action going for the first time. The off speed, it's 1-2.
Yeah, that's that good curveball. And I say cement mixer a lot. It's some of the lingo that we used when we were in the clubhouse, and I think they still do. But it's just that spinning slider or curveball that just gets to the strike zone, doesn't really create break, just sits there spinning, much like a cement mixer on the back of a truck, just not going anywhere, just continually spinning, but not much direction to it. Just to go back and reinforce it a little bit out of the hand of Lance McCullers. You can see the spin created, but you want to see a little more of the downward angle coming down this way. But that one just stayed up in the zone. They either call it a backup slider, backup curveball, or if you're trying to have some fun, call it a cement mixer.
Now the count's 2-2. Twice Lance has gotten the 2 strikes on Almonte, and twice he's thrown that two-seamer at his hip. It's broken over for a strike.
Question is does he throw it, and how's Almonte adjusted to it?
Where McCann sets up. Coming back in. Swing and a miss. This time the curveball, which goes the other way. Almonte having a tough day with 3 strikeouts. Lance up to 9 now in the game.
The Astros scored first. Lance McCullers had a lead, but things got a little tough for him in the first. A couple of walks would turn into a couple of runs. This was a big play here. Alex Bregman decided to go home on the Dozier ground ball. Gets no outs, though. Inning extended. Lance McCullers trying to help himself get out of that inning with a great play. You see his reaction there. Pumped about that one. We've seen some good defense, though, along with that Lance play, including Marwin Gonzalez with a great throw home for the outfield assist. Leads to some controversy after that, but Astros still in this one. It's a one-run game, and we've seen them do damage before late in innings. We're hoping for more today, TK.
First pitch swinging, George Springer grounds out for the first out of the 7th inning. Facing the new pitcher for the Kansas City Royals. Saw him on Friday night. That is Kevin McCarthy. Actually saw him last night.
Yeah, it hasn't been good for that bullpen either. A 5.63 ERA is last. Opponent's hitting 280, so a real opportunity. And the Astros like to score runs late, and this is about the time where they need to go out there and start doing some damage and try and bail this thing out for Lance McCullers.
Royals have allowed more runs than any other staff in baseball this year. It's been both the starters and the bullpen combined equally responsible as Bregman takes a called strike. It's 0-1. Bregman 1 for 3, a single and a run scored back in the first inning. Up the middle, but in the shift right there is Alberto Mondesi, who makes the play. And McCarthy has come in and gotten a couple of ground balls quickly. 3 pitches in and 2 outs. I'll bring up Jose Altuve, who's been on base all 3 times today. He has walked twice and he's also singled to right. Altuve sits on the precipice of 100 hits. He has 99 on the season right now. Trying to get there quicker than any other time in his career. This is game number 73 for the Astros. Previous fastest to 100 for Altuve was a couple of years where he got there in the 75th game of the season.
It's not fair
that he can get there so quickly.
So quick. It's unbelievable, man. Just racks up those multi-hit games.
Played in every game this year. And that one is back to the pitcher off the end of the bat. Strong inning on 5 pitches, 3 ground balls. And Kevin McCarthy's through the 7th. 7th inning stretch time here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. The Royals lead the Houston Astros 4-3. We're going to keep it right here on this Father's Day and at Kauffman Stadium, like at all Major League ballparks. On Sunday afternoons, we're going to hang right here for God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, from the ocean, why we fall. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
With Kansas City leading 4-3, headed to the 7th inning stretch, we turn it over to Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton in our Rooms to Go lounge.
of that Astro, brought to you by Nissan. Looking at a plaque, distinguished group, AA buffet. Who is it? Craig Biggio. Inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2015, one of 32 players with 3,000 plus hits. And Sutton Cavan hitting .287 with 14 home runs in AA New Hampshire. There's some strong bloodlines in that Blue Jays minor league system. Cavan being one of them.
Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero Jr. Quite a group down there. As we have a new pitcher for the Astros in the bottom half of the 7th inning, it is the left-hander Tony Sipp.
Tony Sipp has been doing a pretty good job coming out of that bullpen for A.J. Hinch. We've seen him in this series. Went an inning, gave up a hit, and had 2 strikeouts.
Orlando flies one towards center. Springer was looking at Reddick. Reddick was looking back at George, and finally George takes control for the out. So 1 pitch, 1 out.
Some of the numbers for Tony Sipp. That bottom one is the most important, 3 for 30 against lefties. ERA strong at 2.30.
Now back to the top of the order, but it's not the same top of the order that started this game for Ned Yost. Whit Merrifield, the second baseman who's been their best hitter for the last month and a half, fouled a pitch off his kneecap and had to leave. Medial contusion on that left knee, and he is day-to-day. So Adalberto Mondesi bats for the 3rd time. He came on with an 0-1 count and struck out in the 2nd inning, also struck out in the 4th. 2 of the 9 strikeouts for Lance McCullers today, who ends up going 6 innings. Struck out 9, allowed 6 hits and 4 runs. 2 of them were earned. Ground ball towards Bregman, a diving stop by Alex on the short hop, 2nd hop, and he throws out Mondesi for out number 2.
Nice play by Alex. Good job anticipating that short hop. See, he was kind of going into that dive anticipating it, but did just a good enough job to kind of delay it a little bit to make sure he got that good hop before completely laying out. Pops up, makes a strong throw. Great read. Not easy to do when you're playing in that far. You really don't have a chance to get your feet in good position. He was already in a great ready position. That's why he made that play.
Sipp misses to Gordon. Alex Gordon batting. He walked his first time up and has grounded out and struck out. McCullers' 2 walks came on the first 3 batters he faced today. After getting Merrifield to fly out, he walked Gordon and walked Moustakas. Those 2 came around to score. They were unearned runs with an error by Bregman in the mix. And Lance locked it in from there with the strike zone. Didn't walk anybody else the rest of the game and struck out 9. It misses away. It's 2-1.
Come to the ballpark this Friday for Friday Night Fireworks presented by Occidental Petroleum. Best fireworks show in town will be synced to superhero songs after the Astros take on these Royals. Visit Astros.com/Friday nights for tickets.
And Friday Night Fireworks here after the game at Kauffman Stadium. That was the last time Sipp pitched. Got Alex Gordon to ground out when he faced him that night. 2-2 pitch misses low, and it's 3-2. Inside, ball 4. Sipp walks Alex Gordon with 2 outs. Now face the young designated hitter, Roysel Herrera. At his first at bat as a Royal. in the 5th inning and struck out against Lance McCullers Jr. He's the DH because Mike Moustakas was ejected from this game. Brent Strom going out to have a word with Tony Sipp here, just making sure he knows the scouting report as Herrera just joined the team today. Astros heading home after today, and they'll be home for a 9-game stand beginning tomorrow. There's an off day in the mix on Thursday. Free with Tampa Bay beginning tomorrow, off day on Thursday.
Astro fans have to be anxious to see their team back in town.
Next weekend, we'll see the Royals once again. And then Toronto comes in for the first time. First time the Astros will see the Blue Jays this year, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They've been filling up Minute Maid Park, Plummer, 3rd highest attendance in the American League this year on average. We're expecting big crowds, especially coming off a road trip like this. Gordon doesn't run a lot, but he'll pick his spots. He's 3 for 3 in steals this year. A lot of these Royals fans are probably sitting there saying, I don't even know that we had this guy. He was with the Reds earlier this year. Picked up off waivers. He was playing for AAA Omaha. 10 games with Omaha, and here he is making his Royals debut. So he wasn't in spring training with the team, wasn't with the team for the first 2 games of this series, and now he's the DH batting 3rd. One and one the count.
Well, you brought up something before the broadcast off air that the Kansas City Royals don't have any prospects in that top 100, and I think that's what's interesting about the 2 organizations is that the Kansas City Royals went all in that 13, 14, 15 range, and after that they really didn't have a game plan, whereas the Astros really do have a game plan. They've stockpiled that minor league part of their organization, and they have some guys in the future actually to look forward to.
Bregman will have to hustle, and he does, and makes a good throw on the move to get Herrera for the final out of the inning. A walk and 1 man left on base. We head to the 8th in a 1-run game. Sportsnet is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Arctic, overbuilt, not overpriced. And by T-Mobile. Show your military appreciation and use hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. T-Mobile will donate $1 for each post. Well, merry-go-round here at Kauffman Stadium out in the outfield as we head to the 8th inning. The Royals leading the Astros 4-3, and the new pitcher is Brandon Maurer.
Yeah, it's been a merry-go-round for the Astros on this road trip. They haven't seen it yet today. They'd like to get it going here late in the innings. Brandon Maurer actually had a really good outing last time he was out against these Astros, going an inning, striking out 2.
They'll face Carlos Correa, Yuli Gurriel, Josh Reddick. The Astros need at least 1 to tie this game up and 2 to take the lead, trying to keep this winning streak alive as they're down in the 8th to the Kansas City Royals. And Maurer has started out Correa with 2 pitches out of the zone. It's 2-0. And 0 to Carlos Correa. Our last year acquired from the Padres, splitting time between the Padres and the Royals after spending the last 3 years with San Diego. Correa backed out of the plate, and John Tumpain never granted him time, but Maurer still stopped the delivery. There's a strike at 3-0. It's now 3-1. Did you see this movie before?
Yeah. Didn't end well for the guys in the light blue shirts.
On Friday, Correa looked at a 3-0 fastball for a strike and then hit one 112 miles an hour the next pitch. And he goes deep to left field. He's done it again. Carlos Correa ties the game by hitting one into the Astros bullpen on a 3-1 pitch. We're knotted at 4.
Well, there you go. Maybe they didn't get the memo or see the replay, but that's what Carlos does. He's yelling at the guys in the dugout, letting them know, hey, it's a whole new ball game. Take the 3-0 fastball, get a good eye on it, gauge it, dial it up, get the same pitch and hammer it. That ball was smoked on a line. The other day it was 112.8 off the bat, I believe.
Yes.
Today, 111 miles an hour off the bat at a 20-degree launch angle. That tells you it was a pretty good laser getting out of here. Estimated 410.
Last one was 455. I like watching sequels.
Yeah, it's good.
Here's Yuli Gurriel. Chopped slowly towards third. Tough play for Goins. Yuli's safe. He's the go-ahead run for the Astros on an infield hit.
Wasn't the prettiest of swings from Yuli Gurriel, but he gets a knock out of it. But this is a beautiful thing from Carlos Correa. Loaded, foot down, recognition, and then just release the barrel through the zone, and that is a laser into that Astros bullpen. 410-foot line drive on our Mattress Firm Supermo. You get a good idea of the release point, how well it looked out of the hand. Carlos knew it.
Josh Reddick due up. A lefty's been warming up in the bullpen, and they are going to go to that left-hander. The Submariner Tim Hill will pitch for the Royals. Brandon Maurer gives up an infield hit after the home run, and his day is over. Back after this. a Marvel superhero Lithos comic poster. For more information and tickets, visit astros.com/promotions. New pitcher for the Royals is the left-hander Tim Hill, and the pinch hitter for the Astros is Tyler White.
Yeah, he brings a little bit of the funk. 28 games Tim Hill has been in. He has a 4.64 ERA, but he's got that sidearm, almost submarine, getting underneath that baseball delivery. Throws pretty hard from down there, too, averaging 91.5 miles an hour, has a changeup and a slider.
White pinch hitting for Reddick, and he drills one down the left field line towards the corner. Yuli heading to third. Gordon digs it out of there. Yuli will stop at third. Tyler White, a pinch hit double, and the Astros have second and third with nobody out in a tie game.
You know who that makes happy? Dr. Evil. He's always asking for sharks with lasers, and the great white shark just gave a laser down that left field line.
Laser.
There it is. Anticipate, get ready, sit on that heater when you come off the bench and pinch hit. If you get it, don't miss it. And Tyler White did not. Not sure how long that stay is going to be for him here, but he takes advantage in that AB. That was nice.
Just his second at bat, struck out last night in his lone at bat, coming in for Yuli Gurriel. And now Jake Marisnick pinch runs for White.
That is an amazing day, by the way. Rake, hit a double, get taken off the field.
See one pitch. Here's Evan Gattis. He pops one up foul. This is going to head out of play. In a tie game, the Astros have a guy at the plate who already has 22 runs batted in the month of June. Batting with second and third and nobody out against the left-hander Tim Hill. Correa tied the game, and now Evan trying to give the Astros their first lead since the first inning. Foul tip. It's 0-2. Evan a couple of singles today. The only time he was out in an at bat was a fly ball to deep center field. Astros will take any of the previous three outcomes of his at bats today. There's a base hit into right field. Scoring is Gurriel. Marisnick being held at third. Evan Gattis another RBI, and the Astros lead this game 5-4.
What a job by Evan Gattis. Early in the count, took a chance, tried to unload on one, fouled it off, got a little bit far out ahead, and he realized he was way out ahead of what Tim Hill's bringing. Infield in, he knows he's got a little more angle to work with, a little more real estate. He lets the ball travel, just punches it the other way for the RBI. That was a professional AB.
Infield remains in with Marwin Gonzalez batting. Marwin went 3 for 3 yesterday as a right-hand hitter. And he takes the slider for a fastball for a strike.
And Gattis, you can see right here, he's letting that ball travel. There was emphasis on him trying to stay up the middle. May not have been happy with the initial contact, but the result is what's going to make him happy. Probably mad he didn't drive in both runs. Well, he's been going.
There's a rip into left field, and that's down for a hit. 6-4 Astros on the RBI single by Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin's 4th consecutive hit as a right-hand hitter.
These guys are amazing. Just continuing to beat up on bullpens. This is a lot of what we saw early in the season, where they just wear down starting pitchers, get to the bullpen, start to do damage. Last season, a lot of the runs being scored late in ball games against bullpens. These guys are just never say die as far as the at-bats. I don't know if there's a panic button in that dugout.
Still nobody out in the 8th. 3 runs already in. Here's Brian McCann. Well, you mentioned it in the setup to the starting pitcher today, Brad Keller. He had pitched so well for the Royals that he eventually became their setup guy, pitching the 8th innings. Now he's in the rotation. They're still searching for who that setup guy is for Kelvin Herrera. 0-2 the count now. McCann waves and misses.
Yeah, you really feel like there are a lot of moving parts within that Royals organization and that roster for Ned Yost.
McCann 2 for 3 today, a couple of singles, and he grounded into a double play. Ryan stays alive. McCann drove in a run in the 4th inning with a single to left field. Astros led this game 2-0 in the 1st inning. The Royals also scored 2 in the 1st. And the Astros have not led in this game until this inning since the 1st. McCann watches one outside. It's 1-2. Bullpen action going for the Royals with George Springer due up next. This could be the last batter submarining left-hander Tim Hill will face. Brian McCann waves and misses at the breaking ball. Ned Yost jumps out of the dugout. He will go to the right-hander for Springer with 1 out of the inning. Astros have taken the lead with 3 in the 8th. 2 on, 1 out. We'll be back after this.
Results from today's Chevy Stroh poll. We asked on Twitter who's your early candidate for Astros Player of the Month. June. Ooh, Cat is the big winner with 86%. Deserves the votes. 3 of the 4 on this list have hits this inning. How about that? They continue to do it. And happy Father's Day once again to all the dads out there watching, including Evan's daddy. That's a great pick right there.
That is a solid father-son pick right there. World Series championship and a cigar?
Never tell they were related.
I barely noticed.
Evan dominated the poll today. Just dominated. Why not, the way he's been going? Here's a new pitcher for the Royals. It is the right-hander, Justin Grimm.
Grimm also had an inning in this series, pitching on the 15th. He went an inning, gave up 1 walk and 1 hit. Hasn't been the best of afternoons for George Springer. He looked to do damage on that first pitch.
Hopefully that interview with his dad earlier from Julia will bring him some good karma. As everybody else has been raking on this trip, it's been kind of an okay trip for George. Nothing special, but he can make it a little more special here if he adds to this 6-4 lead. George 8 for 37 on this road trip. Does have a home run and 3 RBIs on the trip. And there's a ground ball towards third, cut off by Goins nicely, and the Astros have hit into yet another double play. That is 4 double plays they have hit into. But they still have scored 3 in the 8th and lead it 6-4.
All started with the called shot from Todd Callis. 3-1 count and a fastball. Good things happen. Carlos Correa proved it.
Marisnik, who pinch ran, stays in the game in center field, and George Springer moves to right. Josh Reddick out of the game as he was pinch hit for. Tyler White doubled as a pinch hitter. Now the Astros go to the bottom of the 8th with Ken Giles on the mound.
Astros with that lead coming back in the bottom of the 8th inning. Now they've got Ken Giles on the mound. Last pitched on the 12th in Oakland, and he got his 11th save. The ERA still relatively high at 4.76, but he picked up that 11th save going an inning, giving up a hit and 2 strikeouts, throwing 12 pitches on here to keep this game right where it's at.
Facing Salvador Perez, 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up for the Royals. Perez checks his swing and fouls one away. Tony Sipp, 1 inning of no-hit, no-run baseball in the 7th inning. He did walk a batter, but Sipp would be the pitcher of record here as the Astros scored 3 after his shutout inning. Perez towards right field, slicing towards the crowd. Hit it a long way, but foul. It's 0-2. Perez has faced Ken Giles twice in his career. He's 2 for 2 with a home run. But this time Ken gets him on a foul tip caught by McCann. Perez out number 1 in the bottom half of the 8th inning.
Good slider to get the strikeout, but also a good job using the fastball to get ahead early and take command of the AB for Ken Giles.
I'll bring up Hunter Dozier. Dozier driving in 3 runs for the Kansas City Royals today, 3 of their 4 runs. Fielder's choice RBI his first time up, and a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning. After McCullers allowed that home run to Dozier, he would retire 10 of the last 12 batters he faced and left after 6 innings. Dozier takes the slider for a strike. It's 1-1. Mentioned earlier, with the Astros scoring a lot of runs against starting pitching, A.J. Hinch, despite all these wins in a row, 10-game winning streak, has been able to use his bullpen the way he's wanted to. And nobody out there has been overtaxed despite all the wins. Ground ball towards short. Correa has the slow roller, and he makes the play to Gurriel for out number 2.
Are you the ultimate Southwest fan? Arkansas, June is your chance to show your spirit. Use hashtag UltimateSWFan ARK on Twitter to show us, and you could win a VIP experience. So tweet now and win big. Big day in the College World Series for Arkansas.
It is.
Woo Pig Suey against UT.
Haven't seen a score yet. We've been locked into this game.
Maybe that's why we haven't heard from Julia too much.
You saw a score?
She checking scores? I don't know.
Here's Escobar. Alcides 0 for 3 today. Grounded out. Knocked in a run on the ground out. Also flied out and struck out. Pitch away. It's 2-0. Ken Giles in the 8th inning. We've seen Hector Rondon save 3 games in a week recently. He may be the guy that A.J. Hinch looks to for the 9th if Giles can keep this game intact where it is now at 6-4. There's a strike. It's 2-1. (5-2) Arkansas, bottom of the 6th, Blummer.
Wow.
1 pitch misses, 3-1.
So Dallas Keuchel will be in a good mood if the Astros win and the Razorbacks win today.
be in a very good mood if that happens.
It's a good chance I'll probably get a phone call from my brother, too. He's a alumnus of Arkansas.
3-1 pitch grounded towards third. Bregman is there. Ken Giles with a 1-2-3, bottom half of the 8th inning. The Astros will take a 6-4 lead to the 9th.
An interesting time a couple of years ago with Jose Altuve going for the cycle, put his head down, had every right to get to third base until his helmet flies off and trips him up around second base, unable to even make an attempt, much to the delight of George Springer and the rest of the Astros. And Jose Altuve, being a good sport about it, gives it a little bit of a chuckle.
Look at the gas.
He's going, really?
He was hoodie guy back then, too.
Ain't afraid of the hoodie.
Altuve will bat second in this inning. Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve, and Carlos Correa facing Justin Grimm, who faced one batter. Got a double play ground ball out of it. Breaking ball to Alex Bregman for a called strike. Astros scoring 3 in the 8th inning to take a 6-4 lead. Carlos Correa tied it with a solo home run. Evan Gattis added an RBI single. Marwin Gonzalez added an RBI single. Right in the middle of that rally was a pinch hit double by Tyler White. Saw one pitch, double down the line, left the game for a pinch runner. Not a lot of time on the diamond today, but he will leave as one of the hitting heroes if the Astros win this game. Bregman 1 for 4, singled in the first inning. Has flied out and grounded out twice since. Grimm, the 5th pitcher used by the Royals. Brad Keller, 6 innings of 3-run baseball against the Astros. Somehow during this winning streak, the Astros have hit into 21 double plays. Yet they still score a bunch of runs. 4 double plays today.
Please hold.
One thing when you hit into a lot of double plays is you have to have runners on base.
Yeah, there is definitely some good news with the bad news that comes of making 2 outs with 1 swing. Is that the only way you do that is by having base runners on. They constantly have base runners on.
And they're putting the ball in play with runners on.
Yep.
They're not striking out a lot. 2 strikeouts today for the Royals. Brad Keller had 1 and Tim Hill had 1. Bregman deep to center field. Back goes Almonte. It's off the top of the wall. Alex Bregman leads off the 9th with a double, his 2nd hit of the game.
Relentless. Just keep attacking the baseball. You get a mistake, the Astros are going to do a good job of hammering it. 21st double this season for Alex Bregman, puts him 7th in the American League. We talked about how simple the swing is. The head doesn't move all that much. He recognizes what's nice is he gets that foot down too, and the hands stay back long enough to be able to launch that ball into left center field. He almost got enough of it to get it out.
And didn't miss a home run by much. Alex hit a home run here yesterday in the 9th inning. A 3-run shot to give the Astros a 10-2 win. Here's Jose Altuve. Altuve into center field. Pretty well hit. Almonte going back. He eases up as he makes the catch. Bregman will tag and get to third easily. Altuve flies out to deep center. But Bregman now at third base with 1 out.
Altuve may be wanting a little bit more, but does a good job of moving that runner.
Altuve sitting at 99 hits. And he gets applause from the dugout on that fly ball that advanced Alex Bregman. So that brings up Carlos Correa, and that batting average will move up a few points because the infield comes in. Correa home run in his last at bat, also an RBI single in the first. And he sends one to right field, coming on Orlando. A reaching out attempt. He makes the catch. Bregman will score. Orlando makes a nice catch, but on the run couldn't regain his balance, and the sac fly by Correa is his 3rd RBI of the game. The Astros now lead 7-4.
Always good to pick up those runs. Good job by Carlos Correa, just doing enough to get it to the outfield, making a bid for a hit. But a nice running stab at it by Orlando. Almost shoestring catch. Good job by Alex recognizing, not taking for granted. Get back there and tag on a ball in the air.
Correa now regaining the team lead in RBIs with 3 RBIs today. He's matched Evan Gattis with 47 runs batted in on the year. He and Gattis have been going back and forth. George Springer right behind them at 41. Here's Yuli Gurriel. Yuli has a couple of hits today. He's 2 for 4. Yuli last 6 games now 12 for 28. He carries a hot bat back to Minute Maid Park after this road trip. Tries to hold up, but he goes around. Astros add a run. They lead 7-4. We're heading to the bottom half of the 9th inning. And Hector Rondon has been warming up.